This hour's breaking news. CNN has learned the Trump administration will not appeal the travel ban decision to the United States Supreme Court right now. Our justice correspondent, Pamela Brown, is here. We've got our other experts with us as well. The breaking news, what are you learning, Pamela?
Well, Wolf, as you know, that the Trump administration, as well as the Department of Justice, has been weighing the options, and we have learned from sources that the Department of Justice will not immediately appeal the travel ban ruling to the Supreme Court. As of now, the White House apparently doesn't want to take the risk of losing an appeal on the temporary restraining order because of the fear of a 4-4 split at the Supreme Court, which would leave the Ninth Circuit's recent ruling in place. That ruling kept the travel ban on hold. Of course, as you know, that came down yesterday. But they're still considering issuing a new reworked executive order. The source I spoke with cautioned, though, that a new order risks making the current lawsuit moot, which the administration may not want to do because it believes it could ultimately win the case on the merits. But also a new executive order could be appealing. As one legal analyst I spoke to, Paul Callan, said, it may be a way to avoid the president from being subpoenaed on the matter about his discussions regarding a Muslim ban. You've already heard the state say that they're going to put in those requests, and so the White House may not want to enter into a subpoena and have to talk about those kinds of things. And so the executive order would be a way around that. But as one source I spoke to said, this is a bit of a Rubik's Cube. You have to consider the timing of Gorsuch's potential confirmation to the Supreme Court and the progression of this case. The source I spoke with cautioned, as with everything, things can change, Wolf. But as of now, they don't want to immediately appeal to the Supreme Court. Another option is to let fill out the record in the district court, bolster their case in the district court. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Wolf.
Pamela, stand by. Laura Coates, you're our CNN legal analyst. If the Trump administration has decided, at least for now, not to go before the eight justices of the United States Supreme Court, what are the other legal options? Because yesterday, Donald Trump tweeted right after the decision was released, "See you in court."
Yeah, those words may come back to haunt him, but it still is accurate. Remember, this case does not go away. It now goes back to the district court. Not going to the Supreme Court does not mean the case is over. It just means that now they're going to develop the record. They're going to be able to figure out whether or not they have a strong enough case to ultimately hold out for that ninth justice. They're planning a strategy here, and their strategy is to figure out, are the other cases around the nation going to have an outcome similar to what happened in the Ninth Circuit? Will there be other circuits around that may have the opposite and more like the Massachusetts decision? This is a legal strategy that finally sounds like it makes sense and he's actually getting guidance. But either way, a new executive order, they've laid out a roadmap for what it needs to look like in order to pass constitutional muster and what the Washington state or Minnesota or any other state has to prove in order to be successful.
It sounds, David Chalian, like that would be the best answer for the president right now. Forget about the earlier executive order, which the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals found unconstitutional. But go ahead, get rid of that and rewrite, start from scratch and write a new executive order that might be more acceptable. The problem is a political problem. If you do that, the president basically is acknowledging his original order was a mistake.
Well, yes, it is. Although if you're crafting another path to victory, one could get in Donald Trump's head for a moment and say if he can accomplish the same goals by tweaking the order or drafting a new order of his national security goals, that could be a path to victory for him. I don't think it's the same as what would happen if he appealed this and lost again at the courts and appealed it. That is defeat that I don't think Donald Trump can stomach at all, a guy who promises constant winning and victory. But to regroup and tweak or just rewrite the executive order so that it's within the bounds and that it can accomplish the goals he's looking for, I think is going to be a victory for the White House if he can get there.
You know, everybody stand by for a moment because we're just getting word that the President of the United States aboard Air Force One on the flight from Washington to West Palm Beach. He's spending the weekend at Mar-a-Lago as his state there. He spoke to reporters. We're going to have that for you. We'll be right back.